צאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מים לועז, הייתה יהודה לקודשו ישראל.
Shalom Aleichem, Good Yantiv, Pesach Sameach. As we gather here today to celebrate the 7th day of Pesach, let us delve into the depths of our Torah portion, Exodus chapter 13 to 15, which is the beginning of the Parashat Beshalach. And let us explore the profound lessons that are intertwined with the story of our ancestors' liberation from Egypt. On the 7th day of Pesach, we commemorate the miraculous parting of the Red Sea, when the Israelites crossed on dry land and their Egyptian pursuers drowned. This event symbolizes a moment of redemption, faith, and unity of our people. Today, I want to focus on the theme of unity, though much can be said about faith and redemption, but I will save it for the next year. Imagine Israelites at the shore of Red Sea. They were not in the best spiritual shape, so to speak. They were frightened, not sure why are they even being there, why they left Egypt. At first, they were not united at all, did not agree with each other, and did not agree with Moshe. They said to Moshe, "Were there no graves in Egypt that you brought us to die in the wilderness? What have you done, taking us out of Egypt?" But Moshe urged them to have no fear and trust God. He said to the people, "Have no fear. Stand by and witness the deliverance which God will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you will never see again. Hashem will battle for you. You hold your peace." And Israelites believed him and walked right into the Red Sea. According to the Midrash in the Mechilta, the Rabbi Ishmael, so strong and unified was their faith at that moment that even the lowliest servant girl at the Red Sea perceived what the prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel had not, for she saw God. This is the moment when Israelites came to have faith in God. They were so united in their faith that even the lowliest members of the society experienced God more fully than even such great prophets as Isaiah and Ezekiel. Their shared belief in God and Moshe allowed them to experience this unprecedented miracle together. It fostered a sense of unity that would be essential for their journey to the Promised Land. However, as you know, such a sense of unity is not always present in our Jewish nation. And Israelites will fight with each other many times on the way to the Promised Land and already in the land of Israel. In ancient times and today, I gathered all my strengths and I want to speak about modern day Israel, something that I'm very hesitant to do. But if you were on the last Shabbat here, Rabbi Grover spoke beautifully and powerfully about free speech and how many of us are reluctant to speak publicly our truth because of the cancel culture. We are often afraid to be misunderstood, that the general public will not make an effort to examine the nuances of the discussed issue and will judge us bluntly, hearing only the part of the story but not seeing the full picture. And that hurtful approach disconnects us even further. We get trapped in what is called an echo chamber. And an echo chamber is a metaphorical term used to describe an environment in which an individual is only exposed to information and opinions that align with their own beliefs, reinforcing the existing views and discouraging critical thinking. In today's digital age, echo chambers are often found on social media platforms and news outlets. They pose a significant threat to our society by fostering ignorance, polarization, and misinformation. Echo chambers often result in the strengthening of confirmation bias the psychological tendency to seek out, interpret, and recall information in a way that supports our pre-existing beliefs. As individuals are exposed only to opinions that align with their existing views, they become increasingly resistant to alternative perspectives. This reinforcement of beliefs stifles intellectual growth and prevents individuals from challenging their own assumptions and biases. Echo chambers contribute to the polarization of society by isolating individuals within ideological bubbles. This separation prevents meaningful conversations and debates from taking place, as individuals become less likely to interact with people who hold different opinions. As a result, society becomes increasingly divided, and the common ground becomes harder to find, leading to increased hostility and divisiveness among different groups. These echo chambers pose a real danger to the development of our society in general, and in our case, to the unity of Klal Israel, the global Jewish nation. There are useful strategies how to combat this threat. And first, we need to find the common ground. We all want Israel to be a peaceful and successful country, the sacred land where all Jews can live in safety and freedom. Right? You agree on that? Okay, I hope so. So, if we have this unifying belief, and this is our common goal, why are there so many disagreements? Why so many heated discussions and even violence? The recent events in Israel connected to the judicial reform are very painful, because this disagreement about the goals of the reforms and the future of Israel are splitting our united Jewish family apart. Right now, the judicial reform in Israel is put on hold the way it was presented before Pesach, and we will see what's going to happen next. Hopefully, a more balanced agreement will be achieved. I believe that it will be beneficial to everyone, but I'm not an expert on jurisprudence to talk about it with any confidence. What I really want to address is the disconnection and separation among Jewish people. Because conversations about judicial reform, I believe, are not the real cause of the conflict. I did not know anything about the Supreme Court or judges in Israel until a few weeks ago, and as far as I remember, I might be wrong, nobody at large or in general was bothered by this court system, though it existed for decades. That is why I believe that people who want to narrow down the conflict specifically to judicial reform and discuss in details why it is not fair or fair, instead of discussing the underlying issues, are driving our attention away from what is going on. For me, it looks like a red herring at the Red Sea. That's intentional pun. That distracts our attention from what is the real source of the conflict. Right now, the division looks like there are two camps. And I don't want to call them left and right, because these words have completely lost their meanings. For some people, right means basically Nazis, and left means communists, which is absurd. I don't want to call it liberal and conservative, because in classic economy theory, liberal means right wing. That's an economic right wing in regard to business. And in countries that are historically socialist, the left can be a conservative, because that's a traditional economic system. So these words are so multifaceted and so abused in the disputes that they become completely devoid of any sensible meaning. I don't want to say religious and secular, because obviously there are religious and secular people in both camps. That is why it's very difficult to give proper names to these camps, though they very clearly exist. I can only name qualities that can be ascribed to the representatives of these camps, and based on that explain why I have to side with one camp and not the other. Have to, not want to. I would prefer not having these political camps at all, but unity is about recognizing that despite our individual difference, we all share a common goal: to create a just, equal, and thriving Israel. And that is The major theme of the Torah, the laws that were given to us, were meant to foster a just society of ancient Israelites. By focusing on the common good and working toward the implementation of these Torah values, we can foster a sense of unity and shared purpose. I believe very strongly that both camps want only the best for Israel. Nobody wants to destroy it. Nobody is hostile to it. It's just the understanding of what is best for Israel is different. Unity requires an intention from both sides to be united. I can't be friends with people who clearly don't want to be friends with me. If they reject me, there is nothing I can do to unite with them. So you tell me honestly, do you think that such government representatives as Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich are in favor of female non-Orthodox rabbis? Or for that matter, of any non-Orthodox streams of Judaism? Do you think that they are in favor of queer people? These are government representatives who participated in the infamous Beast Parade in 2006, the counteract to the annual Gay Pride Parade in Jerusalem. They paraded goats and donkeys through the streets, thus representing the participants of Gay Pride. Both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir lately publicly regretted their involvement in the Beast Parade, though they never denied it. But how can I side with the people who see me as a donkey or a goat? What kind of unity is possible in this situation? Please note that I'm speaking only about the facts that have direct implication for my life. I can't side with a camp that thinks that I'm not a rabbi and that I'm not even Jewish by their standards. They don't accept me. As a queer female rabbi, I have no place in their camp. Or I'm afraid in Israel that they envision. I don't really have a choice but to side with the other camp because I want to be accepted for who I am. And in Israel, I'm not. Even in North America, when I go out in public, meaning stepping out outside the walls of Beth Tikvah, I have to be said, doesn't happen very often, but my rabbinic authenticity and authority is being questioned almost all the time. When I say that I'm a rabbi, first reaction is, oh, I thought that only men could be rabbis. Do you know, for example, that I cannot be a witness for conversion because that might jeopardize the acceptance of that conversion in future by people who think that females can't be witnesses. And therefore, these converts later face difficulty when they want to make an aliyah and build their future in Israel because they are not recognized as Jews if I convert them. Do you think that this is fair or just? I can't be witness to marriages for a similar reason. This is my reality, and I don't see that the camp of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich are interested in supporting me. On the contrary, I see that they are outspoken against people like me. So you see, it's not about the judicial reform. Addressing only judicial reform and ignoring the conversation about the rights of women, queer people, and non-Orthodox Jews distracts our attention from the source of the division. Some might say that I should ignore my individual problems for the greater good and security of Israel. We all want Israel to succeed and be the best country possible, but I don't think that it will succeed without people like me, female, queer, non-Orthodox rabbis. That is the division that bothers me the most, the division that I can't bridge from my side only. A government that doesn't share my values, which does not support me, and which doesn't accept my existence as a member and a rabbi in the Jewish nation, can't rely on my support. The desire of unity must be reciprocal. At the shore of the Red Sea, even the lowliest servant girl perceived what the prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel had not, for she saw God. Notice that the lowliest is a girl and not a boy. And I'm afraid that the traditional conservative right-wing or whatever you call it approach leaves no place for me. I can't side with this camp. Even though Torah is obviously traditional from our modern perspective, even she recognizes the equality of every member of Jewish society. In this very moment, she places a girl above prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel. She has the same share in Hashem as everyone else. That is the unity that we must strive for, or we will never cross this turbulent Red Sea. If my voice as a representative of marginalized social groups in Israel is not heard, I believe there is no future for Israel, or future that I wouldn't want. And that is why I decided to give this sermon today, though I am terrified and I've had a lot of conversations with Hashem of whether I should do it or not. Well, I hope for your understanding and kind feedback. To combat the echo chambers we are trapped in, we need to engage in conversation with the goal of understanding the other person's viewpoint, even if you disagree with it. This involves listening without judgment and acknowledging the emotions and experiences that underline our beliefs. The theme of unity, as exemplified by the Israelites' experience at the Red Sea, has much to teach us about navigating the complexities of relationship between Israel and the diaspora. By finding common grounds, fostering open dialogue, striving for balance, prioritizing the common good, and acknowledging the role of Jewish values and every member of the Jewish nation, we can work together to create a future for Israel that reflects the diverse needs of Klal Israel, the global Jewish nation, and upholds the principles of justice, fairness, and unity. Let us be strong and united in our desire to cross the Red Sea and reach the Holy Land. Chag Pesach Sameach, and thank you for accepting me here at Beth Tikvah for who I am. Moadim lesimcha.